Nah, man, that's not what the football gods had in mind for us this season,
Injuries, man.
I mean, injuries, COVID. I mean, re-injuries. It's
Don't use
we
COVID
just
as an excuse here, man.
well,
Every team's dealing with COVID.
well, not every team has had COVID breakouts.
Well, not
yet.
every team has had COVID breakouts.
Well,
but
that's
now,
exactly.
well,
No, so
there's almost been a COVID outbreak on almost every team at this point. Every
Not
team,
not.
I think
Have
the
the Rams had a COVID?
majority
Have the Rams had a COVID outbreak?
Yes, they have. Early on in the late in preseason, they had.
Oh no! We're talking about regular
But
season,
come on.
preseason.
I'm just
There
saying,
was no
COVID
preseason.
is
No.
a thing that every sports team is having to deal
No,
with.
what I'm
whether it be
saying to you, though,
precautions,
is-
whether it be actual
No.
outbreaks.
But
that's an intangible.
I'm talking about
That's an intangible.
No. I will not let you mislead the American people.
Oh, come on.
And
Everyone is dealing with COVID.
What I'm saying is COVID in the sense that Donald, read the stats.
Thank you for downloading and listening to West Box Score. I'm Alex Gonzalez, once again joined by my two best sports compadres in all the world here, Sonny Hermano, Donald Paz. What's up, gentlemen?
Yo.
Saludos.
Good to be back here with you guys again. Still riding high on the Dodgers, Lakers championships. I mean, that's never going to get old. In all honesty, man, this is the official LA sports podcast here. So we're the city of champions. We got to enjoy our LA championship titles.
I mean, that's also all you had left.
That's all.
So, that's all you have left.
I love the way the whole tweet goes back.
Some of us in LA still have hope for more championships.
Do we though?
Just for the record.
You're right. The Rams and the Chargers are still out there doing the damn thing.
I'm
potential.
sure.
You're right.
I'm sure.
Or you're talking about the other football, the real football. Not the American football.
Exactly.
So let's lead off with American football because the Rams were on the field in Miami. Dude, sweltering hot there in Miami. I don't want to blame. I don't like to make excuses for my teams when they lose. But let's blame that Miami humidity a little bit. And also big ups to Miami's defense. Figured everything. What? Why not, Sonny? Why can't I?
You're like Donald Trump over here asking them to count the votes in one state and
I
want to
count the
votes in the
temperature
other.
one more time.
You criticize LAFC when they called the heat shenanigans that were Tráfico, and now when it's your
Only
Rams.
when it's convenient for me, for my team to use that as an excuse. But no, as a fan watching the game, I'm just watching it, passingly. And then all of a sudden the Fox commentators, funny enough, to get more into politics, the Fox commentators are the ones talking about, the sidelines are uneven on the home team as opposed to the away team. So there's there was I believe it was a 40-degree difference between the temperatures on the Ram side as opposed to the Miami side. So, dude, come on. Why
should that matter? That's home field advantage. It's not like that.
I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree. That's smart, but damn, that's
home field
dirty
advantage.
as hell, man. I also could call that out for being dirty. Come on.
It'd be different if it was in LA and there was that discrepancy. Then it's just like, yo, LA, what are you doing, you morons? Like, freaking hook your team up.
Like, pump us up, get a little cool fan breeze going, something, help them out.
But, I mean, most teams don't have home field advantage these days anyway, so, hey, they got to do what they can,
Absolutely, right? So, I mean, it's smart. It's gamesmanship. You always got to get in any competitive edge where you can, but it's also... I'm as a fan, I'm going to call it a little unfair, but yes, it's smart, and it cost the Rams a win. 28-17, Miami Dolphins win. Golf was just golf again. the Jared Goff that I wonder, is this really our guy, man? Like, what do you do? That first pick, he threw 2 picks, but that first pick he threw, it's like, you threw it right to the Miami linebacker there. Like, it wasn't even like a bad read. He looked at him and threw it to him, dude. I get like when you're just looking through, surveying the routes, and like you saw it, you looked at him and threw it to him. That was just a really bad pick, man. And then it just those turnovers cost them early on. They just never could get offense flowing because Miami's defensive schemes were just too much for genius McVay to figure out. So it's just no offense going at all for them in this game. It was a very disappointing loss. Thank goodness they got a bye week this week because they really need to figure things out before they take on a tough Seattle team. As Sonny, is a tough Seattle team. But before we get into your 49er recap, we got to know about the other LA team that was on the field. The other LA team. That's Donald's doing the old Reggie Miller choke there.
Yeah, can I just say before Donald gives us the breakdown of what happened to his team that your team let Alex and I off the hook because it did not look good in terms of like our losses. You know, the Rams losing to the Dolphins early, the Niners losing to the Seahawks, getting walloped really. Yeah. And then the Chargers came in and let us off the hook by choking like dogs.
Another Denny Green reference there. I love it.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Yeah, it was bad. And it was crazy because, you know, when these games were happening, especially because the Chargers game and the Niners game were happening like pretty around the same time. I think there was only like a 20-minute difference. I was already thinking like, man, like seeing the Rams get killed, you know, it kind of felt like by halftime you already knew where the direction of this game was going. And then Seattle, same thing too. It felt by halftime you kind of knew like where the game was going. And with the Chargers, I was thinking, wow, I guess come podcast recording time, I'll be like the only one that has to say like, oh wow, like, you know, what a great win.
Sucks for you guys. My team won.
Yeah, pretty much. And no, man, I mean, the Chargers did not let me be able to gloat this week. They were like, no, we can't have Donald do that this week. We need to make sure we don't do that. So yeah, but the Chargers, man, that was really disappointing. That was a gut punch, man. To lose it at the final second, like that's bad. 1 second left, fourth quarter. I mean, not fourth quarter. It's fourth quarter, obviously, but you know, fourth down, and it was like 1 and like goal or whatever, and like literally all you had to do was just block a pass, and man, it just felt weird seeing it happen in real time. It just felt like, wow, I kind of knew it. And I think I sent that text saying, man, this lead's slipping away. But I was thinking in a weird way, I was like reverse jinxing it. Like, oh, maybe they'll still win by 3 by a field goal or something. But man, I did not see this coming where like they literally let the Broncos do whatever they wanted in that fourth quarter and gave up all that, which is always a bummer given that like how great Justin Herbert plays, which is the real letdown for me. It's like I don't like seeing this kid, you know, have to put up the kind of performance that he does just to be playing in a team that really just doesn't really put it away.
Welcome to the NFL, kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's insane, dude. And yeah, man, I feel bad for the kid, but you know, it's rookie year, so but yeah, overall though, pretty impressed with the offense. Obviously, always impressed with the offense. I feel like the Chargers just always have weapons. But they definitely have to figure out a way to just like close out games when they're up like this. They were up, I believe, 24-3 at one point. You know, it was just like it was just insane to see how Denver came back and how the Chargers allowed them to come back. I felt like there was a flag by Hunter Henry where it costed him 15 yards, and that's where I felt the game swung. Like it was just like, oh, they're not getting the first down after this, and then they're going to give up the ball, and now it's all on the defense. But then I felt that's where the game swung. And then the 2 flags, there was like 2 back-to-back flags that really killed it in the fourth quarter. And those couple last seconds that basically gave Broncos the edge to get a couple tries at the end zone, and they got him. So, yeah, it's tough. Division games are always tough, and I know they got the Raiders next. And regardless of the Raiders, it's always a division thing. So I
feel like this is like the second or third time this has happened to your Chargers team.
This is the 4th game in a row where this is happening. This is the 4th game in a row where they've been up by at least 2 possessions and have blown it. You know, they even put out a stat saying that this is the 4th time that they've blown a 16-point lead. So it's insane.
That's tough, man.
I feel like if it keeps going, this might be it for Anthony Lynn. I don't know.
Damn, dude, you keep calling for his head, man. You keep calling for a change on Anthony Lynn.
I like his speeches, man. He's a very motivational guy, but as a coach, you need someone that really knows how to handle situations like that with the kind of talent you have on the field.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I will say this. The Chargers, for what it's worth, are probably the best 2-5 team in the league, for whatever that's worth.
Yeah,
but then at the same time, though, you know, if we look at their 2 wins, right? I think their second one was Jacksonville. That's right. And then the first one was against the Bengals, which you could argue they should have lost that game.
That's right.
If you remember week 1.
The
so maybe the Chargers, are kind of exactly where most of us expected him to be. I mean, Herbert
Yeah.
being a revelation because I don't think anybody saw him playing this soon so well. I mean, with all the stuff that went on with your original starting quarterback and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's tough. I'm sure it sucks to see your team lose in this fashion, but I think the future is bright.
Division games too.
The future is bright for the Chargers. They just, like you said, are a couple pieces away. I agree with you. I think they needed a different head coach. And I would say the prospects, and I've been saying this for a little while now, but I think the Chargers, ironically, are trending up while the other team in LA is maybe trending down.
Maybe switching coaches might help them both.
I mean, maybe, but I think the Chargers are going to be they're like a year and a half away, you know.
Yeah.
So we'll see, but they're a dangerous team either way, even this season. So they're a fun team to watch, man. I like your quarterback down there in San Diego.
Yeah, man. I like ever since the Hard Knock series, I don't hate on the other LA teams like I used to do.
All of a sudden,
on the other, whenever I like one LA team, I immediately have to go against the other LA
true.
team. That's not.
Well, give me an example of that. The Clippers and the Lakers.
Lakers, Dodgers and quote unquote Angels. Like,
right, they're not an LA team. But Galaxy and LAFC is not an LA team.
Yes, it is.
That's Carson going against LAFC.
Once again, you get caught up in the city limits, zip codes with you.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I got like counties on my brain right now with all this political breakdown. And technically speaking, Carson is almost just as close to Orange County as it is to like downtown LA.
Carson in? We got to worry about that now. How many electoral votes does Carson get? So sticking in American football, the 49ers were in action against the Seattle Seahawks, man. How did that work out for you, Sonny?
Dude, let me just say, talk about being snake bit. Like, and Super Bowl curse or Super Bowl hangover, if you will. And usually the curse is if you got to the Super Bowl but didn't win it, it's tough for you to even get back to the playoffs. I think the statistics bear out that it's tough, right? And so, as a Niner fan, we came into the season still feeling like that's all right. People can sleep on us. We're going to do our thing. We got a great coach, and we're going to be back in the playoffs. I'm not guaranteeing another trip to the Super Bowl, but we liked our chances. Nah, man, that's not what the football gods had in mind for us this season, man. I mean, injuries, COVID. I mean, re-injuries. It's
don't use COVID as an excuse here, man. Every team's dealing with COVID.
Well, not every team has had COVID breakouts.
Well, not every team has had COVID breakouts.
Well, that's exactly.
Well,
no. So
there's almost been a COVID outbreak on almost every team at this point.
I think have the Rams had a COVID? Have the Rams had a COVID outbreak?
Yes, they have. Early on in the in preseason. They had.
Oh no! We're talking about regular season, preseason.
I'm just saying,
was no preseason.
COVID is a thing that every sports team is having to deal with.
No, what I'm saying to you is
whether it be actual outbreaks.
No.
That's an intangible.
I'm talking about
that's an intangible.
No. I will not let you mislead the American people.
Oh, come on!
And
everyone is dealing with COVID.
What I'm saying is COVID in the sense that Donald, read the stats. Who's missing? There's a kickoff that's about to happen in an hour. Okay, in minutes. We're taping this on Thursday. You might be hopefully listening to this on Friday, so the game would have already been over. But Donald, give me the injury report or the report of the players that'll be missing in today's game for the 49ers and why.
Oh, well, the players that are on the COVID-19 list for the 49ers.
Thank you very much.
They got 4 players on the COVID list.
They got 4 players, 3 wide receivers, Deebo Samuel, Kendrick Bourne, Ayuk, is that?
Nope.
Yep, Brandon Ayuk.
And then tackle.
Here's the point that I'm trying to make. Okay. Thank you very much for breaking that down, Donald. These are dudes that are missing games, right?
Right.
Due to COVID. I'm not talking about preseason. Yeah. We're not talking about practice. We're talking about games. We're talking about games.
What I'm trying to explain.
We're not talking about practice. What I'm trying
to explain, you wouldn't miss those games if you would handle your COVID precautions better. Every team has to deal with COVID precautions.
I'm not saying Yeah, but we know that first of all, you said across all sports.
But
the NFL
yes,
is
they
not
are.
operating in a bubble. The NFL is not operating in a bubble the way the NBA was and the way the MLS's back tournament was. So that's a bullshit excuse there that you're saying
it's a thing that's out there that every team is having to take precautions
correct.
on.
And it just so however, it's not only when you contract, it's not only if you contract COVID, as it's also when you contract COVID, right?
Right.
And when I say your snake bit is sure, if we contracted COVID, I don't know, in week 14 when we've already clinched the playoff spot, maybe it's like, oh well, this just sucks. This is what it is every season. Like every team's going to deal with this,
Sorry,
right?
this COVID outbreak wasn't convenient enough for you and your schedule.
But
But that's the way it goes, man.
It's
That's the
absolutely
way it
not
goes.
convenient.
Every team's gonna have to
Exactly.
deal with it. Every
I'm not
team.
saying we're not win. You're not listening to me. I'm not
Okay.
saying we're not winning because of COVID.
No,
I
but
said,
you're making the COVID example here as if you're the only team that's having to deal with it. Like we're snake bit by this and that. And injuries
yeah,
and
the
this.
same way that
And not every team is
Patriots-
having to deal with
the
injuries,
same way
but
that
every team is having to
Patriots-
deal with COVID precautions. Is
right.
the
So
point I
imagine
was
having
trying
to deal with, but the point I was trying to make is imagine having to deal with all those injuries and then COVID.
Okay.
Do you get what I'm saying?
I mean, I guess, sure.
There's no other team.
But you're
as
just trying to add
injured in-
icing to your messed up cake already here. It's an icing that everybody's dealing with.
I'm calling a spade, man.
All right.
It is what it is. It's just, I'm not saying.
Go back to
I'm
your,
not-
your San Francisco 49er woe here, tale of woe
yeah,
here.
yeah. Give me my moment, okay? Okay. I said from the beginning when we had all those injuries. I mean, look, we lost our best defensive player, arguably, in Nick Bosa for the year. We lost our top defensive lineman in D Ford for the year. We lost our quarterback to a high ankle sprain, which for those of you who have played sports before know that a high ankle sprain is usually a 2 to 3 month recovery time. Okay. He tried to come back and play, and all reports suggest he re-injured it.
Right.
You could tell even when he was out there, he was never like putting pressure on his back foot while he was making throws, which as it is, he was already kind of suspect at times. And if you're giving him a gimpy ankle, it's like, oh, forget it, man. We just lost our arguably the best tight end, maybe top 2, depending who you are, in the league for 8 weeks, maybe the whole season, depending on if we have anything to play for, et cetera, et cetera. I can go on. Richard Sherman. I didn't even talk about our top cornerback. Dude, so the long-term injuries that we faced early just doomed us from the start. And that's why, for me, it was a wrap, 3 weeks, kind of 2 weeks ago. Even though I would maintain there was still a lot of football to be played. Right. My hope was that some of these players would start coming back from some of these injuries.
Right.
I didn't even get to our running backs that keep getting injured also. Mostert, our starting running back, gone. Our backup running back, Tevin Coleman, gone. Came back, gone again. Jeff Wilson, the guy who plugged in and looked like a beast right after that, looked great, gone. I can go on and on. So it's just a snake bit season, man. We got to take it on the chin as Niner fans. I don't like our chances to make the playoffs. It's just now playing spoiler. I hate kind of sandbagging for a draft pick. If unless there's somebody really, really good out there, and I guess some people can make the case that Lawrence would be a nice fit in the Shanahan system. But I already think we've won too many games to be in the Lawrence bit, anyways. So, I'd liked him to finish it out, win, play tough. It's always next man up. That's just football for you.
Yeah.
It just so happens that this year the roll of the dice didn't work out for us, man, and so it sucks. It sucks that. To know that we didn't have a full squad and we couldn't show, we weren't a fluke. We weren't the Rams a la 2016.
There you go.
Or 2018. It was like we were legit, but now we can't really prove that. So,
Because you're going to blame injuries and COVID.
All right. All right.
No, but your injuries is enough. Totally well
COVID
said.
was just the side cake, is what
Exactly.
I'm saying. The additional cherry on top. That it was like, oh, great, we're already missing all these guys. So the only people that we had coming back healthy enough to still give us a shot were wide receivers, right?
And then they got this.
Donald just listed the two of our top two wide receivers out for the game. So I'm not expecting a win tonight against the Packers, even though the Niners have owned the Packers over the last couple seasons. But as long as they try, man, that's all you can hope for at this point.
You just get some Stanford prospects up there from the Bay Area there. Just put them in there because the Pac-12 is going to get started up too this weekend.
Supposedly, but some of those games are being canceled too, right?
Are they starting to get canceled already?
Yeah, I think one game got canceled.
No.
Cal had
Washington
a canceled.
Huskies, Golden Bears game canceled because of coronavirus case.
Exactly.
Damn it. Thanks a lot, Newsom.
And they cut Pettis too, no?
Yeah. Oh yeah, Dante Pettis. Well, that was just a bust, But
that's too bad, man.
It's been a tough season, man.
Injuries or one thing, coronavirus, and then you got to do what you can to avoid it. When you get it, stay off the field. Justin Turner, stay off the field when you contract it.
Oh yeah.
Do we want to get into our Justin Turner discussion here and what we feel about him right now, still after that celebration, and how irresponsible it was of him to get on the field?
Oh, you tell us, because I was on that train early. Immediately when it happened, you were kind of in your clouds still.
I mean,
willing to accept false positives, all these theories. So
what I don't like is MLB investigating themselves. Whenever somebody investigates themselves, we're always going to find no wrongdoing, of course. So I want an independent investigation onto what their protocol was. I mean, I think Joe Kelly has come out and said he felt very unsafe in that bubble. So, I mean, how safe was that bubble? Like, because right away when it happened, I'm like, how the heck could he have possibly contracted COVID? There's no way. They're in a bubble. That's why they were there. But if he contracted it, then that means
they weren't in a bubble, though. That wasn't a bubble.
That's what they sold us on, right?
That's how they sold it. But we all know that we all knew. I mean, you just needed to use your eyes to see. Wait, there's fans in this stadium. How is this a bubble?
Right. Like, but there's fans in such a far distance that how can they possibly have contracted it even at that point, right? I mean, that's at least how I felt as a fan watching.
How could they possibly contract this? All right, we'll have a separate podcast on how this virus works.
That's not how this virus.
That's not how this virus.
That's not how this virus works.
We'll get the king of the virus, Dr. Fauci, on to talk about exactly how it works.
That's right. That's right.
But it's just. So, yes, it wasn't a perfect bubble at all because it wasn't an actual bubble at all because, right, there were fans there. But it's just like, it just doesn't make any sense how he would be the one positive. The person in the one of the star players on the team having a positive test just seemed a little fishy to me at the time. But the fact is there was a positive test. There were two positive
So, wait, do you
tests.
think that's MLB's fault or his fault?
I think it's his fault.
Okay.
Who knows how responsible he was or irresponsible he was, but not contracting the virus, going out onto the field rather.
No,
if you contract
you just
the virus,
finished saying 4 minutes ago the Niners, because they got COVID, you said, well, what about how they should be controlling themselves a lot better, right?
Yeah, once they get it,
5 minutes ago.
Because once they get it, you do your best to avoid the spread, right? As both of us
But I wasn't talking about avoiding the spread. I'm talking about
because why were there four? No, there were 5 cases.
Because that's how this virus works.
That's exactly how the virus works. So that's why it's odd that Turner, the sole positive test, that can't be the case. I do not buy that. I think there are more positive tests, and MLB is never going to let us know. I want more positive tests to confirm that's exactly how this virus works. Mm-hmm. There have to be more positive tests. But we'll never know. The same way we'll never know about how much the Houston Astros fully cheated, how much the 2018 Boston Red Sox fully cheated. They're never going to let us know.
Wait, correction. The Mookie Betts led Boston Red Sox fully cheated. I'm just reminding folks because they're conveniently forgetting that their star player here was associated
with that cheating,
2018 Boston Red Sox scandal.
Right.
So
how much when a year or two from now, when we find out how much the 2020 Dodgers cheated, we're going to let that slide too.
I mean, you're going to have to if MLB let the Astros slide and the Red Sox slide.
Let us keep our.
Going to have to let the Dodgers
keep our useless pieces slide.
Pretty much. Yeah.
All right, Donald. Do you want to comment on Justin Turner?
No, I mean, I agree with both you guys. I feel like there needs to be more information. I think I said that. I think the night that we recorded, I was like,
you did.
It's still too early, but for real, like they need to really come down with the whole, like, this is what happened with the communication, and this is where the communication got lost, and really start saying stuff like that, using that kind of language. But I think, like Alex said, I think so much time has passed now that I feel like they're really just gonna sweep this under the rug, and I feel that's really what's gonna happen. So I don't know. I guess I don't know how much stock to put in or faith to put in that. They're gonna actually give us a real, this is what happened, test, lab,
not.
response, result. This is where it happened. This guy forgot to tell this guy. That's how whatever. So,
I mean, as I said, then they're not. I mean, I guess to answer Donald's question, not that I have the answer, but my feeling is they're never going to tell us or look into that fully. As I said, then they got bailed out that the Dodgers won it that night because had they not, then this would have been a bigger issue.
That game 7 would have been so crazy to have to
would have blown up in their face, MLB, that is.
Right.
Not the
no,
Dodgers.
I hear you. That would have sucked for both teams involved, right? The Rays and the Dodgers there. Like, how do you have a deciding game with, potentially all your players exposed? I mean, I get their MLB's using Justin Turner as like the scapegoat here. You broke protocol, which he did. I mean, that was irresponsible of him to do, to go back on the field. And I get you may never get that chance again, but man, what we know about the virus, you can't go out there and subject your teammates to this, man. Like, that's like a brotherhood, right? Like, your teammates, like, why would you want to potentially expose them to
selfish reasons?
Right. I mean, as much as I don't like MLB blaming Turner for the whole thing, it's like, it's kind of warranted, man. It's kind of warranted.
He didn't do himself any favors. At all.
Sorry, man. I love Justin Turner as a player and what he does for the city. Like, he does a lot for the community, but this one selfish act, man, it's a really bad look on him right now. I mean, I'm still Turner, but man, one bad move, man. It's kind of, you gotta make amends.
We should, exactly. It's not the end of the world necessarily. I mean, as long as it comes out that nobody really got seriously ill as a result of his actions. But it does. It tarnishes his image a little bit. I don't think it tarnishes the Dodgers' accomplishments at all. It shouldn't.
No, of course not.
But it just tarnishes his image a little bit, because again, it was just a selfish act on his part to then go, you had already won it. Like, just go celebrate in private then if you really wanted to celebrate with if your teammates were cool with just celebrating with you regardless, like, then do that shit in private. That was the big thing.
Maybe he doesn't vote that way.
But that goes back to the hashtag we talked about that night. Hashtag Dodgers so what?
Hashtag Dodgers so white. So maybe
maybe
hashtag Dodgers too conservative. Mask,
I don't know, man.
Not my mask, not my muzzle. Whole thing.
Maybe,
man. Come on, dude.
I mean, I checked his Twitter. He's over here calling out these delay and votes.
Oh, she's saying hashtag stop the count, huh?
Stop the count.
Yeah.
I mean, you could stop it and call it. You might as well where it's at. We don't mind that either. In case you don't know what we're swaying politically, I mean, there's a great song that I've been listening to by YG featuring Nipsey Hussle, FTD. So, I mean, it's a good track, and I think we might actually end the episode with this, maybe, if we got that explicit already on. I mean, all right, let's keep it on sports now. No, kind of keep the politics out of it. Hopefully you did
sports.
Hopefully, we'll have to shut up and dribble here.
Shut up and speak.
Yeah, pretty much.
How does that work?
I mean, but hopefully you guys you listening right now, used your voice and went out and voted on election day or prior. Just hopefully you did that. I mean, the numbers are showing pretty good that there was a high voter turnout. So big ups to everybody who spoke with their, used their ballots as their voice. And
big ups to the team owners that opened their stadiums.
Yes, sir.
I believe, Alex, you went and got yourself a commemorative sticker.
Right. I went out to Dwyer Stadium, dude. It was beautiful out there at 7 a.m. when the polls opened.
Oh, I thought you went to the bank
nice.
To get your commemorative sticker.
That's funny. So now we move over to MLS talk now. And the big news that broke over the week is the LA Galaxy finally got rid of that deadweight coach, Guillermo Beresclotto. They finally figured out that who's really in charge of this team, and it's their star DP. Because he's the one who's really calling the shots. I mean, him and the GM, Dennis DeClosa, they're the one that's doing everything. They're the masterminds behind this big club here in MLS. And it showed off, it paid immediate dividends on Sunday when the Galaxy got 3 points against Real Salt Lake. And of course, their star DP not on the field, so that's why they got those 3 points. That's why they got those 3 points there. And so that led into Wednesday's big matchup against the defending champion, Seattle Sounders. And LA Galaxy really needed the win here, but they needed help. They needed help from the other LA team.
Wait, and before we even jump on that, correction to our listeners, because the last time we hopped on here and we were talking about the playoff prospects, we erroneously said that there were 7 spots available up for grabs in the MLS, as tradition, or as has been the case since last season. However, because of COVID, I believe they expanded it 1 spot this year
to 8.
It was 8 spots in the West, and it's 10 spots in the East. But there's 4 teams that have a playing game in the East, so it's whittled down to 6.
Oh wow. That's not confusing MLS. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, and that's because there's an uneven number of teams on the East versus the West. So with that said, it looked like when we last spoke, the Galaxy were pretty much cooked, based on the numbers. But then only to find out, oh wait, there was still hope.
There's a chance
that they were able to rope you and Donald in with.
Well, I'm sure Donald is already at the airport, like he said. He wrote off this season, right, Donald?
Yep, I did. I was like,
yeah, but Donald bought insurance on his ticket.
Oh, did he?
So in case he needed to cancel that flight, he was ready. Yeah.
I mean, because I'm still hook, line, and sinker into this team. I mean, I already bought in for next year with season tickets because I want to go check out some live football. I mean, even though it's the Galaxy's product on the field, sometimes makes me disappointed to see that live football, but it's just, I want to go see it. So because of that, I was able to get on the LA Galaxy season ticket Zoom meeting, which
Zoom 28.
Zoom 28 ballooned from 28 members to at one point 248 members. Wow. 248 strong. Zoom.
Nice.
And the only reason for that actually was because there was it was fan appreciation night and there was lots of giveaways. There was FIFA 21 codes on your PS4. There was TCL tablet giveaways. There was even jersey giveaways. So that was exciting.
Free 2021 season membership.
At that point, man, just get somebody in their comp tickets.
You
get
a seat. You get a seat.
It's so funny, right? It's so funny because even the Galaxy season ticket members are just like, no, we're over Chicha. He's not a right fit for the team. There's a lot of hate on him, which sucks, but it's funny at the same time. But how can you be so negative toward your own player? I will never understand. And the closest,
because people aren't homers, Alex. People aren't homers. It's okay to not be a homer. You got to look objectively.
But you could be objective, right, and realize he's just not fitting well, right? And that's true. He's just not fitting well with the team and the system. But you can't almost root against him and root for him to fail because he's still wearing your club's crest on his shirt, man. Well,
if you believe that by him failing, it means he's going to be up out of there, then I could see why one person would root for him to fail.
That, yeah.
That's the only reason why. It's the same reason why we root for our team to tank, like we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
It's like, no, stop winning, which is so counter to what it means to be a fan. But really, you're thinking about the long-term prospects, not the short-term prospects. So maybe some of those fans, I don't know what the Zoom 28, 248, what it looks like.
Man. We're triple digits now.
Maybe some of those fans are using their cabezas and they're saying, wait a minute, if Chicharito starts to look like he's doing good, this is bad news because that means we're with him for the long haul and we're not going to be great. Whereas if he looks like shit or continues to look like shit, maybe the management realizes, hey, it's time to rebuild without him and move in a different direction. So that could be part of it.
Yeah, it's a little bit of that. And so new head coach Dominic Kinnear, what do you think they look like now under their new interim head coach, Donald? Do you think with 2 games now as our sample size,
and 4 points
to his credit, yeah.
No, it felt like to me, especially yesterday, seeing them actually play. I don't know. To me, it was like, wow, I guess GBS was the problem. But I wouldn't even say that he was like the problem. Like he was terrible. I just feel like for whatever reason, this roster just did not play for him the way they're playing now under Kinnear, who is just an interim head coach. He was also the interim when Shiggy Smith also left. A couple seasons ago. So they called him back again. And Kinnear, I mean, he's pretty good. Like I think he could be a head coach somewhere if the Galaxy don't want him.
I like the fire on the sideline from him in these 2 games.
Yeah. No, he knows soccer. You know what I mean? I think he has 2 MLS Cups as an assistant coach with. So I mean, it's not like it's not like he's learning anything. He's just pretty much coming in and filling in the role as someone that would already know how to do that. But I don't know if it's something that if this is a sign that they like him, like the roster likes him, or is it just because it's not GBS that they're now just playing more loosely and they're thinking like, oh, we could kind of now do what we want, even though the season's already lost. But it was interesting seeing like how different this team looked. They just looked like alive, and it was like, where were you guys the whole season? But yeah, I know Chicharito made a comment about that.
I mean, still playing with a little bit of no purpose to me sometimes, but at least they have a little bit more energy. They're trying they're just playing with a little bit more effort. I mean, there's still no strategy I see from them.
The thing is the roster's still not great. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like you still got to you still got to rebuild this whole thing. It's not that it doesn't mean that this was it.
Right.
It just kind of just felt like it was just cool seeing them be able to play like a team that has competence on the field, for once. But yeah, I mean, they definitely still have to get rid of a lot of those guys because the roster's still not there. Yeah. I mean, it's not playoff ready. It's not MLS Cup ready at all. So yeah.
But the roster that was there, I mean, when our super sub came in, there was a lot of groans in the Zoom 248 there. But when he netted that goal in the 78th minute, man, that Zoom call got real loud. There was a lot of cheering. There was a lot of happiness. There was a lot of Chicharito. There was a lot of that. You know what's funny? Because right when he came on, there was some of that, but it was kind of done, ironically, and just like to poke fun at how at him. But I'm telling you, it felt a lot more sincere when he scored that goal. And what did he celebrate with, Sonny? What was that celebration? It looked familiar to you, didn't it?
Yes, he wrongfully celebrated with a LeBron James high kick celebration. If you don't know, go YouTube LeBron James high kick celebration, arms down, pump, however you want to call it.
Slapping that chest, dude. I love it.
When we all know it's proof out there that the LeBron James family are LAFC supporters.
Now,
so Chicharito, shame on you. Shame on you.
Is that because
LAFC
typically what they do is anybody comes to LA, they immediately send them free LAFC swag as a marketing ploy.
Let me tell you,
that is a thing.
Let me tell you,
Mark Rojas got a hold of him real quick.
Let me tell you, one of the 23 players that got a LeBron jersey when he first came to LA.
Of course,
was Mr. Carlos Vela.
Of course.
Nobody on the Galaxy got. Zlatan didn't get no love from LeBron.
Really?
You know why? Because LeBron knew. I gotta align myself with winners. Gotta align myself with winners. He knew then. Align yourself with winners, man. Wow. Don't pay attention to that trash in Carson, dude. Like just stay in LA.
All right. I mean, LeBron, of course, not here to defend himself, so we're going to take your word for it.
I spoke to him already. Don't trip.
So, yeah, when they scored in the 78th minute, the Galaxy fans, we were like, okay, we still have a chance at the playoffs, guys. Come on, we need help. So, as we're scoreboard...
Playoffs?
Easy, Jim Mora. As we're watching that, we're also scoreboard watching to see what the Rapids are up to, and they take care of business against Portland. So like, okay, that's not helping us, guys. We really need San Jose to lose. That's going to be our only hope of still making the playoffs. They're taking on LAFC, the other LA team. They're pretty good, right? They'll take care of San Jose, or so we thought. They are who we thought they were.
Hey, COVID LA, baby.
COVID FC is what I call them in the
COVID FC. Like you said, man, COVID just happens, dude. It just happened at the wrong time for the Galaxy. It happened at the wrong time for the Galaxy. No, it's not convenient. Like I said in our group chats, I would have much rather preferred LAFC win the game. I'm not worried about the Galaxy getting into the playoffs or not. Yeah, I wanted LAFC to play with some momentum going, as they had been going into the playoffs. So for whatever reason, they can't solve the riddle that is San Jose. Now, this is 2 times in a row that San Jose has just beat us and outplayed us in some way. Credit to them. Again, we call them COVID FC right now for a reason, because this game actually wasn't even scheduled necessarily to happen at one point, because this game was canceled last Sunday,
right,
when it was originally supposed to be played, because at the time only 1 player had tested positive for COVID, and then we found out it was actually ended up being 3 players. And of course, everything that comes with that is you're not able to train,
right?
The
whole team can't train.
Exactly. So and you're supposed to produce X amount of negative results for so many days before you can play again. And it was like, oh, you got this many negative results. Okay, we're scheduling your game like tomorrow.
Right. Like within 24 hours or something. Like really crazy.
Exactly.
Like
Exactly.
That really sucks.
It is what it is. Again, that's just the year that is COVID-20
that every team is dealing with
in one way or another. In one way, when you're not playing in a perfect bubble, yes, this is what can happen and what has been happening. And LAFC unfortunately was not able to do their neighbors in the South any favors.
South LA County.
South borderline Orange County.
Okay, here we go. No, but because of the LAFC not taking care of business against the San Jose Quakes, the LA Galaxy are officially eliminated from playoff contention. Music. There you go. Sing it up.
Na 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 na. Wait, I don't hear you. Where's the Zoom? There you go. Good. Adios.
I immediately had to Venmo.
Chicharito. That was for Chicharito.
Chicharito. I immediately had to Venmo Sonny my funds for the bet we made.
Remind the folks.
The LA Galaxy would go further this season than LAFC. That did not happen. I had another bet with a coworker of mine. The LA Galaxy would take the cup over the entire field of MLS when I saw the Chicharito acquisition, man. And that's not going to happen either. Donald, going into decision Sunday now, Galaxy take on Vancouver. What are we looking for in this game now at this point?
Just have fun. Have fun and enjoy playing one last time with this roster. And that hopefully we don't see a lot of these guys next season.
I mean.
And that, yeah,
man, I'm with you. The Zoom.
Is it really decision day? I mean, everyone already got eliminated. There's no one that,
I mean, seeding.
It's just a seeding, right?
Seeding matters.
Seeding Sunday.
Well, that's
they call it seeding Sunday.
Well, I guess in the East, are all the spots still?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't even look at the East.
Who watches the East, man?
Man, what a West Coast bias on this show.
Hey, man, the whole reason we started this podcast was
result.
because of the East Coast bias. So nobody's watching the East. I mean,
Orlando had a pretty interesting result. I think they won with 10 men, and I think they got to clinch a playoff spot in a long time.
There's 2 spots up for grab on the East still, so it is still decision day again for that play for the 9 and 10th spot. So miraculously, everyone's still alive there except for Cincinnati. They've been eliminated. But yeah,
Inter Miami, my sleeper pick over there on the East.
Inter Miami, your sleeper pick, who is on the outside looking in right
without Pizarro also either. So
correct.
Isn't he getting called up to the national team?
Correct. Mm-hmm. You know who's not getting called up to the national team?
Who could that be?
Chicharito's not getting cut.
Chicharito.
Who
Now I'm
somehow
going
in
to start
his-
saying his name because he scored a goal. So I'm
his
okay to say his name now.
our post-game manager press conference that he gave last night talked about how the door was still open for him for the national team return, which I wanted to touch Chicharito. That's not how it works, man. I think Vela's the only player that has had that kind of relationship with the federation, where sometimes they leave the door open, sometimes Vela leaves the door open. It's this weird relationship that they have. But Chicharito's over here acting like, I'm going to leave the door open in case they want to call or come and visit. Man.
Right.
It's like,
well, those Mexico friendlies are happening, right, against South Korea and Japan next Saturday, not this Saturday, not tomorrow, but a week from tomorrow, and then the following Tuesday. Once again, this is just training, right? Like, that's what these friendlies are for, to just gel with the national teams, get a sense. USA actually called up one of our Galaxy players now, Sebastian Lletget. And is Donald? Do you know if our guy Christian Pulisic's going to be on there?
he's injured, isn't he?
He's injured, yeah. But the thing is, like, because it's a friendly, they kind of don't need him. Like, you already know what he's going to give you.
Correct.
He's, like, the best American player. I would rather them play the other guys and figure out, okay, what's the other rotation that we have here. So, in a weird way, even though he's injured, and I'm sure Chelsea needs him a lot more right now, it's not a big deal to me that he's not playing.
It's a hamstring injury, so I seriously doubt. I mean, he's not going to play for USMT with that hamstring injury.
Yeah, and I feel like you already know what he's going to give you.
Did
He's
Gio
gonna be the guy
Reyna make the
that's
team?
going to... Yeah, he got called up. Reyna got called up. Josh Sargent got called up. McKinnon got called up.
Nice.
Yeah, a lot of the international, no MLS guys, because MLS has like all the COVID rules.
Right.
So it's they're gonna have to figure out the rotation without the domestic guys.
If
which
their
I think
MLS teams made the playoffs, this is why Sebastian Lletget is going, because he doesn't have to worry about quarantining back in for a Galaxy playoff game.
He go.
Silver
Dest is
lining
gonna be
there
there.
for Sebastian Lletget there, our captain for that Wednesday night game.
Oh, that's right. He had the C on.
So
Yeah, Dest is gonna be there.
nice.
So yeah, it should be good. It should be fun. I mean, I'm excited to see what these international guys look like together, because they've been hyped up so much. I know I was talking to Sonny about that in private, where it's like they've got a lot of hype about them playing overseas, playing for Barcelona, playing for Juventus, and but we've never seen them together. Like, we've never seen them on the field, like what they look like wearing the American jersey. So now we'll finally get to see what that looks like.
Very
and
nice.
I'm hoping for some cool results, man. Mexico friendlies. I wonder if Son is going to play for South Korea. I definitely would love to see that matchup. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So.
should be good.
Just want to see some fun games.
Yeah, I mean, that's all. That's with these friendlies. That's all you want. You just want the teams looking good together, gelling before the qualifiers. So.
Also, what was announced, the CONCACAF quarterfinals are up and going to get started there. Your LAFC, Sonny, taking on Cruz Azul on December 16th. Now, it says they're going to host a single leg semifinals and finals centralized in the U.S. So does that mean we're going to get it at the Bank of California Stadium there?
That I don't know. They haven't announced any venues. I don't know if they're
still preliminary.
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to go to each MLS club stadium, or they're going to just pick a handful of stadiums where these games are going to be played. So still to be determined, I believe. But it's cool. I mean, the last game I attended was the miraculous comeback LAFC had against Leon. It's bittersweet that it's coming back, because the energy that night was crazy, man. And it sucks that, obviously, I mean, understandably, there's not going to be fans for when they do return with this tournament, just like with the Champions League, overseas, there's no fans. But I'm glad that they're bringing it back, because it's just to me, it's a fun tournament. It's a fun tournament to see where the MLS stacks up. They've never had a winner produced out of this tournament. So I think MLS has two clubs for sure. Atlanta's in it, LFC.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
Galaxy's
I thought
not
you were
in.
talking about
Excuse
past
me?
winners. Past winners.
No,
my
no.
bad.
Excuse me.
Take it easy. Atlanta, yes.
Yeah. No, Galaxy has not won this tournament before.
Yeah, they have. It was early.
Champions League? No.
No, CONCACAF.
CONCACAF Champions.
Yes. Yes, dude. Me being a new Galaxy fan, I saw that right away on their wall of championships. Look it up. Google that thing. Jamie, pull that up.
Wait, that was a different. They won it in 2000, but that was a different. You see, you being a new fan,
exactly.
You don't know what you're talking about. The 2000 format of this was not what it is today.
Okay. So
it's a completely different format now.
How does soccer work?
Stay tuned for how
soccer
soccer works. I'm working on it, pre-producing it. It's coming up so that folks like Alex can understand how the history of this game.
As a new fan, I see that up on their
and you're recklessly claiming things like they're like they're equal.
I can be misinformed. I'm not recklessly spying this off. I get it. If I'm misinformed, correct me.
I'm gonna have to be like Twitter. I'm gonna have to put like a little note on your comments for folks to realize.
Fact check.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, unlike some of our leaders in this country, I can say when I'm wrong. So please correct me if I am wrong.
So in the current incarnation of what the tournament is, an MLS team has not won it. So that's why it would
what
be
incarnation
huge.
is that? So when the Galaxy did win it, how was that?
Off the top of my head, I'm gonna have to. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Donald. Were you gonna say something?
No, I said I have the matchups if you guys want.
Oh yes, please.
Have me say them real quick.
Yeah,
real quick, CD Olympia versus Impact Montreal, Atlanta United versus Club America, Tigres versus NYCFC, and LAFC versus Cruz Azul.
That's right. Yeah, there's a lot of tasty matchups on there, man.
Yeah.
It's a lot of great teams on there. I think now that the Galaxy are out, I just want to watch this.
I'm gonna. Yeah, you should.
Definitely would love to see what Atlanta looks like against America.
Well,
I mean, unfortunately, a team like Atlanta who doesn't have their best player still due to injury. Although it's later in the year now, so I don't think he's coming. I haven't looked to see what his injury status updates are, but I doubt he comes back for that matchup. I think it would have been a different matchup had he been healthy.
right.
All right, let me put a bookmark in this because you're making me
All right.
Look up.
I want to look up. We're gonna on the next episode. We have to find out the changes of a CONCACAF when it happened and how different it is now compared to when the LA Galaxy did win it. Because I'm curious to know. I mean, I'm genuinely curious to know the difference. As somebody who wants to learn about the game of football and not spout off like I know everything about it, I am genuinely trying to learn. I am on this journey to learn football.
And claim 5 stars.
And then claim 5 stars.
Hey, even knowing what those 5 stars
even
meant.
though I am a new fan that my franchise that I am a fan of have won 5 stars. Therefore, I could claim it as a fan of that team.
No, that's not how it works.
That's not how fandom works?
It's not how fandom works.
Wow, okay.
When you're making arguments, that's not how fandom works.
I see. I didn't realize there was so much fine print to being a sports fan here.
There is.
Thank you, Sonny. Thank you for being the voice of reason here on fandom here.
Hey, we're all about integrity here on WBS.
Absolutely. That we are. So before we wrap up, we got to talk about what potentially might be happening, and that's the NBA restart. As we're speaking, voters may be voting because they didn't get enough voting on Tuesday. They're going to vote again on Thursday, and that's going to be deciding whether the season starts on December 22nd or January 18th, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day, not to be confused on another important day, which is January 20th, Presidential Inauguration Day, which is what we're all looking forward to also. Maybe. Fingers crossed, guys. Fingers crossed. Let's stop the count or don't. The results are the results right now. And so, guys, what are you thinking? Do you think the NBA will restart December 22nd or January 18th? What's your feeling on this, Donald?
I mean, I would think they'd want to start on December 22nd. I know a big part of the discussion all the time is because they also a couple teams or a couple players are saying, well, it's a little too soon. We had the playoffs. I know the Lakers won the championship. And I think LeBron even said it on his show that I might be wrong on this, but I know that they said that he said that like he's willing to take like a month off or whatever, like, and just come in a month later. So it's like you're gonna get a lot of that, and I think if the owners know that, they're thinking, well, do we want to start at a time where some of the superstar players might, kind of do a lot of this load management stuff? Even though there are no fans, but it's just kind of one of those things. But then on the other side of it, for the owners, it's a revenue thing.
Right.
And if they don't start soon, then they're going to lose out revenue. And the thing is that you don't want to affect the following season after this one. So, yeah, like I would think that I don't know what the ins and outs or what the details would be, but I would think that December 22nd.
Well, I think Rachel Nichols on The Jump was talking about how much money is set to be lost if they have to.
Billion. I think billion with a B,
right?
The number that's floated.
That's why I think the owners and players should both push for December 22nd. Which, I mean, the only thing that's going to be affected here is TV ratings, right? But the TV ratings were somewhat down in the bubble this past season. But I think it's important that they at least get that TV revenue here with whatever product they put on the field. If LeBron, like big star players, don't make it, they should at least put something out there just to make sure they hit their numbers and the players aren't affected as much, and at least financially, man. Because in these times right now, if you could at least get your family's finances situated, I think you're better off for it. And the big star players don't need it as much, so that's like somebody like a LeBron is willing to like, hey, I don't need to show up for these games. We're kind of okay, and let some of the younger guys get those shots too. If you're from a team management aspect, at least, right? What do you think, Sonny?
Yeah, I think Christmas Day is a big day for the NBA, to get all that viewership.
Right.
So, and I have a hard time seeing a scenario where even the star players aren't playing on that big day.
Right.
Including LeBron.
Mm-hmm.
I think, to me, it makes sense that they maybe open the season that day. I mean, the 22nd, maybe, so that you give them a game in advance of Christmas Day, so that they can kind of already get into somewhat of game shape by then. Mm-hmm. But I'm also okay if LeBron and the other star players decide that they want to load manage until, late January, early February. I mean, you understand the risk associated with that. You might fall in the standings or whatnot. But
then you got to think about what the owners are saying of that, because they're like, well, do we pay these players that are not playing?
Yeah, and that's the foul
part. I mean, there's a lot of variables, and then you still got to think about salary cap.
Right.
What does this do to the salary cap for next season with Giannis being a free agent? There's a lot of stuff that goes into it. It's definitely like a big Pandora's box that is just like, if you unlock it, there's a lot of things that go into it, and all we're really talking about right now is just the decision to start. And I think that's why it's such a hard thing to do for the teams, for the owners and for the players, is because they're thinking of everything: TV revenue, salary cap, how free agency is going to work, how trades are going to work, all that, And I think the only thing that's certain right now is that the NBA draft is happening on November 18th.
Right.
And that's because it's the draft. Like, you don't really pay a lot of, like, those college kids don't get paid a lot, so it doesn't really affect the bottom line like that. But it's just like an event, So yeah, it's insane. I really wouldn't know what the answer would be, But I would say whatever you guys feel is the best thing to do, because we're talking about all the business stuff right now. We're not even talking about the COVID precautions yet.
Right.
So,
right. Yeah. I haven't heard any updates whether it's going to be in a bubble, home arenas. It's going to be home arenas.
Not happening in a bubble. None of the players want that again. And especially, again, and this is kind of the dangers of you being a league that doesn't do it that way, is that now other leagues are watching you and seeing that how you're kind of quote unquote getting away with that. I.e. the NFL, the MLB, the NBA is probably like, why can't we do something similar? Maybe a little better, but similar. Because the bubble
and it's going to be a 72 game season,
right,
too.
Right. From everything that we've heard, it was tough on the NBA players to be in that bubble for that long, man. So it's going to be interesting, man. Because on the flip side, you have 10 teams that, by the time we get started, almost haven't played in a year.
Right. Yeah,
so
that's true. Teams didn't go to the bubble. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not going to be a perfect situation either way. As a Laker fan, it really makes no difference to me. Let them start in December if they want to. Let LeBron rest if he wants to, as Lakers management is concerned. And we'll go from there, man.
Yeah, we will. Well, when we do find out anything, we will let you know here on West Box Score. But one more thing before we go. Tomorrow, you got to check out AEW Full Gear pay-per-view. Check that out, guys, on Bleacher Report Live or your cable provider. You got to see the main event between Adam Hangman Page and Kenny the Cleaner, Kenny Omega. You also got Jon Moxley taking on Eddie Kingston for the AEW Championship in an I Quit match.
I quit match.
Ah, man.
Yeah, I definitely am interested in, especially because of all this stuff that's happening right now with voting. Like, a lot of stress. I think that a wrestling pay-per-view is a good, just, whatever. Let's just watch something for 2 hours and, have fun with it.
Thank you, Donald. That is why
you have no dog in the fight. You just watch
Absolutely.
it. So yeah,
I get knocked so much for being a fan of wrestling, but pro wrestling is a great getaway, a great escape from like the craziness of the world. And right now, I'm glad that there's AEW going on, there's WWE going on, because it's comic books come to life for me. And it's just, there's athleticism involved, there's over the top characters, and it's just fun. And I'm going to spend 3 hours in front of my TV watching this on Saturday. Hopefully you will too, just to get a break from this craziness. Hopefully this craziness will be wrapped up by that Saturday, but I strongly doubt it with the way Nevada is, they have that sloth from Zootopia counting votes over there. And the main reason why I'm watching this, man, you guys got to check out the tag team match between FTR and the Young Bucks. It's been 3 years in the making, guys. There was a tweet sent out. This is when FTR was in WWE. The Young Bucks were in New Japan Pro Wrestling, and they just said, we're going to wrestle each other one day. Remember this tweet. And those were all time-stamped 3 years ago. So this match, years in the making, and the Young Bucks said if they do not win the tag team titles and on this event, they'll never challenge for them again. So, that's pretty big statement there, and I can't wait to watch it. Donald, I'm sure you'll be watching too.
Yeah, definitely.
Sonny, you can check this out.
I will tune in, my friend.
Yes, and thank you guys for tuning in to West Box Score. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at West Box Score. Be sure to follow Sonny and the Fox Crate podcast. Follow him on Instagram at the Fox Crate, and download his podcast, the Fox Crate Podcast. Coming real soon, right, Sonny?
That's right. We were waiting. We were just waiting for the selection madness to end to hop back on the mics, man. So we can get some things off the dome.
Give us an escape, man. Right now we need it, dude. Just give us some vinyl to talk about. Give us a little escape, dude. That's why we do this, to give the audience out there an escape for just some nonsense. And we're talking tongue in cheek about it just because it's out there, so we can't escape it. It's just you gotta laugh at some of it sometimes because it's just so crazy, but also be informed on the real issues, serious issues, of course, but also at the end of the day, laugh at it, man. It's just life. You got to be happy and live it and laugh at it sometimes, and that's what we're here for. Me, Sonny, Donald, guys, thank you again so much for spending this time with me. I appreciate it.
Vamos LAFC.
See ya. You guys have a good one. See ya.